The Republicans decided to go full authoritarian yesterday for Trump's nominees. So the Hill explains here, Senate Republicans pushed through a pair of President Trump's cabinet nominees Wednesday, upending standard committee rules to circumvent a Democratic boycott. The Senate Finance Committee advanced a pair of Trump's nominees with only Republican members present, Steve Mnuchin to head the Treasury Department and Tom Price as Secretary of Health and Human Services. By unanimous consent, the Republicans gathered in the hearing room, agreed to change the committee's standing rules, which normally require at least one member of each party to be in attendance for a committee's work to proceed. Quote, "It's just another way of roughing up the president's nominees," said Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch. "They have been treated fairly. We have not been treated fairly." So that lays it all out there for you. The Democrats said, we're not going to show up for Mnuchin and we're not going to show up for Tom Price because they have not followed ethics rules at all. They're supposed to disclose all of their income, all of their financial information. They didn't. In the case of Mnuchin, he had a bank account with tens of millions of dollars. If not, I think it might have been over $100 million. That he's like, whoops, I forgot to disclose it. Tee-hee-hee. And you have Tom Price, who invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into various medical companies. And then he would propose bills in Congress that would affect the price of those medical companies. That may violate even the few corruption laws we have left in this country, which they are few and far between. I mean, this is obscene. So the Democrats go, yeah, that's not okay. Until you're fully upfront with us and fully disclose everything and answer all of our questions, we're just not going to show up and there's not going to be a vote on it. The Republicans go, that's cute. We just changed the rules and now none of you need to be here, and we just advance them to the next step to have an actual vote on them to get approved or not. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, look, see, this is where having a strong Democratic Party and an intelligent Democratic Party is more important than ever, because the Democrats are likely going to put their tail between their legs and go cry somewhere in a corner. But this is where you go, ooh, they just gave me a gift now, didn't they? This is where you hit the interview circuit. This is where, you get the word out there as much as possible and you shout it from the rooftops that the Republican Party is no longer a normal party in our government. They are the pirate party. They are the authoritarian party. They change the rules when they don't get their way. Now, then they'll come back and they'll say, well, but you didn't even want to have a vote on him. That's right, because Steve Mnuchin represents Goldman Sachs. Steve Mnuchin kicked a grandma out of her house over a 27-cent discrepancy in her mortgage payment. Steve Mnuchin is responsible for foreclosing on thousands of people when he ran One West. Steve Mnuchin was at a criminal organization during the height of their criminal activities. He should be in prison. This guy was at Goldman Sachs when they were doing fraud as a business model. And you're gonna clutch your pearls and say, oh, you're not treating us fairly. Not treating you fairly? Steve Mnuchin should be doing cartwheels because he's not in prison. Not treating you fairly. Tom Price should be thankful he's not in prison. He proposed bills to make himself rich. He's as corrupt as they get. And never mind the fact that those same companies that he proposed bills to help, they also gave him massive campaign contributions. So Democrats, the Republicans are giving you a gift. They're saying, here, we are the worst PR people in the world. We just changed the rules to allow through the most corrupt nominees in the history of the United States of America. If you can't capitalize on this, you can't capitalize on anything. So, you know what you do? They just called your bluff. Oh, you're not going to show up? We changed the rules and now we don't need to show up. Okay, so then let's go. When we get to the actual Senate, don't yield the floor. Have a bunch of Democrats lined up. And when you're going through the process, say, oh, by the way, I'm starting to talk now and I'm not going to stop. Now, in some cases, the rule is the Republicans only need 51 votes to approve. In some cases, they still need 60 votes to approve. Specifically with the Supreme Court, they still need 60 votes. But Trump is threatening to go nuclear on that and change that to 51 votes too. So, but here's my point. Even if it is 51 votes, just don't yield the floor until they drag you out in handcuffs. Make this a big thing and be crystal clear why you're objecting. Say, I am objecting for the American people. Goldman Sachs, a criminal organization, should not be in charge, should not be Treasury Secretary. Are you kidding me? This guy is responsible for kicking a grandma out of her house over a 27-cent discrepancy in a mortgage payment. You think he's going to do what's best by the American people? He already hasn't done that. He's already on the opposite side of that debate. Tom Price is corrupt. Tom Price proposes bills to help his own bank account. He took campaign contributions from Big Pharma after helping Big Pharma. I'm not going to let these guys through. They are corrupt, America. They're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for profit. They're looking out for themselves. And the Republicans just changed the rules to allow them to proceed without any Democratic support because they're authoritarians and they don't care about you. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about justice. They don't care about fairness. They don't care about democracy. They don't care about any of it. They are the pirate party. This is what you do. And yield the floor. I will not yield. I will keep talking about Goldman Sachs for Treasury Secretary. And I will keep talking about Tom Price, Big Pharma's representative for Health and Human Services. What kind of damage is Tom Price going to do if he's bought by Big Pharma and he's bought by medical companies and he's directly in charge of crafting policy that affects them? He's going to let them get away with anything. How many drugs that are unsafe will Tom Price allow onto the market? You can't have somebody who's this corrupt with this much power. We're blocking by any means necessary. You go out there, you give that speech, it's on all the different news channels at night, and you win in the PR battle. President Trump, you said you were going to drain the swamp. Not only did you not drain the swamp, you're building a brand new swamp on the White House lawn. You're even taking some of that swamp water and drinking it as you sit in your Oval Office chair in your high tower. You said you were going to drain the swamp. Now drain the swamp. Pick different people for these positions. We're not playing around with you anymore. This is how you fight. This is how you fight, but they're not going to do it. The Republicans just handed you a PR victory. Could you imagine for a split second if the situation was reversed? You had a Democratic president pick Goldman Sachs for Treasury Secretary, which, by the way, is not too hard to imagine because Hillary might have done that. But then you also have a representative who's a direct representative of Big Pharma and not the people, picked to be the head of Health and Human Services. You have two of the most corrupt people on the planet. And then the Democrats decide, yeah, we changed the rules. We don't need any Republicans to advance them. So we just advanced them. You know what the Republicans would do? They do exactly what I just told you. They go on all the different media outlets, all the different shows. They'd schedule a big thing where they hold the floor and don't let it go. They'd be dragged out of there in handcuffs, and people would go, shit, it looks like the Democrats are authoritarian and the Republicans are trying to fight for the people here. But the Democrats have an opportunity. They're not going to do it. JusticeDemocrats.com. If you want Democrats who are actually going to do that, JusticeDemocrats.com. Corporate Democrats are done. Establishment Democrats are done. We need Democrats who are going to represent the people and fight and fight. We're not going to see that, but we should see that. Again, they handed you a PR gift. Take it.